Just think of the money we'd make. I want to live in Paris someday, not end up working at the post office. Jeanette was serious, determined to make things happen. Joanne, less so. They'd been approached by a still unknown individual who wanted to use their Sunbed shop as a front for growing weed. The offer came at the right time for them. They were up to their eyeballs in debt and struggling to stay afloat. After much consideration, fear of giving up the shop eventually convinced Joanne. Okay. And it didn't take long after that before the money started rolling. Within a year, their single Sunbed shop turned into 2. Within 5 years, it was 10. Jeanette and Joanne used to call themselves the Sunbed Empresses, and they lived like it. Parties 7 nights a week, holidays in Ibiza, fancy restaurants for lunch, and driving round in the latest 4x4s. They went from surviving on a council estate to pulling their entire family out of poverty. Not bad for a couple of scruffs like us, Joanne would say. We're not scruffs, Jeanette would spit back. By the late 30s, they found themselves with families, but the lifestyles didn't slow down, and they needed to keep expanding. More and more shops were opened, and soon there were more Sunbed shops than KFCs. They were dotted all over the city and beyond. But this naturally led to questions. Just where do they get the money when the shops are always empty? As word started to spread and the heat went up, Joanne got cold feet again. Maybe we should quit while we're ahead. We never quit. Little did Jeanette know, that very mindset would prove to be their downfall. On a single night, a single fan of a single filter of a single crop from dozens failed. The filter stopped working and the smell from the crop escaped into the street. Before long, police had sniffed them out. When the first one fell, the rest fell like dominoes. They caught Jeanette and Joanne the next morning coming out of one of their favourite restaurants. That was the last fancy thing they ever got to enjoy. They lost everything, their money, their businesses, their families and their homes. They even lost each other. Joanne blamed Jeanette for everything that happened. You made your own choices, she said. They were both sentenced, and as a further punishment, they were dumped in the same cell together. Usually inmates who come in at the same time don't go in the same cell, but when the warden heard they hated each other, she thought it would be a good way to rub salt in the wounds. From the Sunbed Empresses to the cellmates that don't speak, Jeanette and Joanne used to be friends.